Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleeds podcast. This is Chris Witt. I'm Chris Witt. Oh, man, I totally screwed that up.
No, you
It's
can
a whole
change it
different
all
world.
up.
We can do whatever
Change
we
it all
want
up
now,
if
right?
you want.
With me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam Schmidt, we're a week off of your vacation. How you feeling, bud?
Feeling fine.
Yeah,
Feeling fine. It's good to be home.
it's good to be home. I bet. Nothing like being living in another person's house for a week.
Yeah.
On a beach with animals and wildlife all around you.
Mhm.
I'm sure I cannot wait to hear about your beach trip.
Yep.
We will definitely get into that. We've got the Women's World Cup is going on. We're huge soccer on this. We love talking soccer.
We love talking soccer. I don't know if we're a huge soccer on this, but we love talking
we
soccer.
love talking soccer.
It's
for
fun.
sure. And what else we got? We've got all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
We've got all kinds
We're
of
gonna
stuff.
switch. We're gonna switch it up.
Switch it up. We're gonna start switching it up. Maybe, I mean, it's always been a little less sports here recently anyway, but I think it's time just to have some fun on the podcast.
Anything goes.
Anything goes, my friend. So to start off, there is one thing that will never change.
No.
And
There are like three things that'll
yeah,
never change.
three things that'll never change. One of them is the start of the podcast, which is eating candy.
That's right.
Our Reese's segment of the podcast is brought to you by Reese's. Adam, I just count on you to bring something now. I don't even know anymore.
Here's the thing. Since it's becoming very difficult to find stuff
When
around
you
here,
see it, you just
I
grab it.
ordered. The other day I ordered like 6 things online.
Did you really?
Yes, and this is one of them. This is Reese's popcorn. Now, we have had Reese's popcorn before in the mix.
Yeah,
in the Reese's mix.
It was in that Reese's trail mix.
This
thing.
is popcorn by itself, which is going to be a different.
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's definitely gonna have more just popcorn and not the rest of the mix.
Get yourself a handful of that.
I will 100%. Oh, you should have went first.
Oh, that's okay.
You don't want to touch anything. Oh man, this looks like a good piece.
Yeah,
A lot of caramel. Looks is this caramel in here? Or peanut butter? No,
It's got to be peanut butter, right?
yeah, it's peanut butter.
Maybe I could read a drizzled popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you have ever wanted, popcorn drizzled with your favorite candy. Sure.
There you go.
I guess,
Reese's popcorn.
Mhm.
Okay, you know what? I don't dislike this.
In fact, I downright like it.
I do too. I would eat this all day. I might buy some of this, stick it in the truck, and drive around and just munch on some popcorn.
You have to take it inside with you when you go in because it's hot.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to get a cooling pack.
Yeah. Oh.
Did you get a hard one? See, that's what makes me. You got a kernel in there. It makes me nervous right now because you remember. Oh yeah, just swallow it. Don't chew it, dude. Just swallow the kernel. It'll come out. It'll come out the backside.
It scared me because that's what happened when
Mm-hmm.
suddenly half of my tooth was gone a year ago or whatever.
So that being said, I don't know if you remember beginning of the year, earlier this year, I was having a bunch of tooth pain issues for a while.
How's that
Like
been?
so bad that I went and I was like, just pull it. I don't care. Do whatever. I just got to get this thing taken care of. They gave me, so I went to the dentist. Originally, they're like, you need to get your wisdom tooth back there. I think maybe your wisdom tooth's doing something. You might need to get your wisdom teeth pulled. Gives me,
go have your wisdom teeth.
Gives me a antibiotic, clears it up a little bit. Took a while. It took like the full 10 days of that thing. Get to the guy who's going to do that. And he basically told me I was old and I had old gums and it would be very difficult and I may never feel my lip again. And I was like, what is going on? I don't know how this happened, but I've got concrete jaws instead of styrofoam jaws.
And a paralyzed lip.
Yes, and a paralyzed lip. Nothing wrong. So we didn't do anything. Yeah, here. Yeah.
I got another one, and I gotta get rid of this thing. I'm done with this. Eat the rest of that popcorn. Thank you.
So no, you're good. So So I'm all right. I'm like, okay, it's no big deal. It actually started feeling better. You know what I mean? And I was like, I ain't gonna mess around with this. Whatever it is, what it is. Went back to the dentist back in March. I get she gives me another referral, and she's like, I think you need a root canal, but we don't do the root canal here. I think you need a root canal. I called the doctor and dentist or whatever they're called.
The doctor said no more monkeys jumping on the bed.
Yeah, exactly. Then there was only 2 little monkeys jumping on the bed. So I call this place, and they're not in my insurance. But when I went, she gave me another antibiotic because I was starting to flare up a little bit. And then it was fine again. And I was like, well, he wasn't in the network. No point in finding another one. We'll be fine. And I'm going to tell you right now, bud, it's getting back. This, just like the last 3 days, it is back to excruciating pain. And it's weird because, like, I can chew with it. Like, I can touch it. Like, my touching the tooth doesn't hurt. I mean, it does. It causes a slight little pain, but not near, like, I can't, like, if I just stretch my neck up, it hurts. I started to get just this little ball right here. It's like sticks out. It's like I don't know how to explain it. My jaw feels like there's a tumor in my jaw.
Yep.
But it started just small, and now, like, it's bad news. So I got myself another appointment tomorrow
to get another antibiotic.
But they're not going to be able to do it. It's with an endodontist or whatever. I actually called somebody in there, and they basically were like, we're probably going to have to give you another antibiotic before we can do any work on that tooth. So I'm going to have to go back, get this thing looked at again, and do all this all over again. And then,
can't you just get the root canal?
I'm hoping they just say, yeah, you need a root canal, and do it.
Okay.
But I think they're going to make me have another antibiotic to clear all this.
Probably swelling and irritation.
Yeah, swelling up. Dude, it feels like a golf ball's in my jaw right here. And it was just on the edge, and now it's starting to move down, like, into the center. And, like, I can't even stretch my neck up. It hurts.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I may be dying.
I mean, I hope not.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
I hope not.
As long as we're on the same page.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to.
Yeah.
Maybe they just need to cut my jaw out. Maybe I've got, like, what is it, Tony Gwynn and all these people that, I'm sure Bruce Bochy, and I'm sure there's some more people that have fake jaws from dipping their whole life.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to get a fake jaw. We
had a neighbor when I was younger, and he had some kind of cancer on his face, had half his face taken off.
Jeez, Pete.
Had
they put anything back in place of it, or was it loose skin?
It looked, honestly, there was a thing that was on his face that looked like the leather from a baseball, kind of. It was just like, I don't really know what it was for. Also, apparently there was some kind of, like, plug in there, like there was a hole in his face, so it was like a plug. He was in church one day. Ready? Sneezed. Shot the plug out of his face in church, onto the middle of the floor. I'm not kidding. You know who it is, actually. You know who it is. It's our old neighbor. It's our old neighbor.
I don't remember.
Scott's dad. Seymour's dad.
Scott's dad. Okay, yes, I do remember the Seymour. Yes.
Yes. Old Len Seymour, he had felt bad for the guy, but man, that happened. Gosh. I don't remember seeing it, but I remember that it happened, and I've heard, I think my dad tell the story before.
That is so great.
So anyway,
I would have went over and picked it up, gave it to him.
No, I mean, you might have. Most wouldn't, I'd say.
I was hoping that thing that he sneezed and it hit you. That's what I was hoping.
No. Oh no. I would have had to have had some sort of.
You'd still be in therapy, in more therapy.
Yeah. We'd be talking about different things. So speaking of that, so, but you can eat this.
I've been eating on the right side of my mouth, and it's working.
So what is the right side of your mouth? How about that cluster? That's nice.
I love the clusters.
What is the right side of your mouth rate Reese's popcorn?
I'm gonna go 9.7.
Wow, that's a big number,
dude. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it too. Now, it's Reese's popcorn and gravel that I've found out.
I just got one.
I've gotten two, and somehow I chewed through the first one, and the second one was a miniature marble that would not go anywhere.
It's smaller than a pill. Just swallow it.
I have a hard time with pills.
Do you?
I have to.
Oh, speaking of having a tough time swallowing pills, that go into our comedy segment for this week is Amy Schumer, emergency contact. That'll be fun. But yeah,
I'm going 9.2.
Okay,
yeah. I like it.
It's good. Like it. It's different from the normal stuff that we do, but it's definitely good.
Yep,
absolutely. Absolutely. Adam, let's say you went to Hilton Head Island.
Sure did.
How was Hilton Head Island?
It was in South Carolina. And
how hot was it?
It was real hot. 90s every day. There was at least a couple of the days, probably just about every day, it was like, 98 or something like that. And it said the heat index felt like 106, I think it was. It was hot, real hot. And we thought we were going to get rain like 2 or 3 of the days we were down there. We were down there for 6 days. I was going to be fine with that because number one, that means don't have to go to the beach.
Yep.
Don't have to go swimming. And number two, you don't, it's not the sun's just not beating down the whole time. You think you're getting rain, you're going to have clouds. It's going to be overcast. I love that. I love if it's hot, I love an overcast day. Sun was out the entire time.
Never stopped, huh?
We had like a few times here and there were clouds in the sky, and it would go behind the clouds. Sun would go behind the clouds for a sec, but for the most part, the sun was out the whole time.
Looks like you did a terrific job with your SPF.
Yeah, still,
you got some tan. You've got color, but I'm saying like you don't look like you got burned anywhere. You don't look red or you didn't get too toasty.
And I was kind of surprised because the first couple of days we were on the beach, 4 hours, something like that, 4 or 5 hours. And, I could feel it, a little bit on the neck, a little bit on the forearms and stuff like that, but it never got too bad. And I did try to apply a little bit. I don't like wearing sunscreen, but I did because I don't want sunburn or cancer. So I did that. I bought sunglasses for the first pair of sunglasses I've owned since the ones I got from being in your wedding.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yep.
I was married almost 15 years ago.
That's right. And I still have them.
Nice. They're still sitting in the same place they've been for 15 years because they don't get worn.
They don't get worn. They've been in my car for a long time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I just never get them out.
You just never know.
That's right. Anyway, bought a pair of sunglasses and I bought one of those hats with the brim.
Yes.
Hat
yeah.
Sort of
Got to have a bucket hat. Did you get a straw hat? Or
no.
Did you get an NBA bucket hat?
I did. And I found a good quality one for real cheap at TJ Maxx. Shout out TJ Maxx.
Let's go.
Thanks for sponsoring.
Great clothes for cheap.
That's right. And I was dating this girl one time, right? This is what the podcast is now. I was dating this girl, just all over the place.
Yeah.
And her family, her mom, her aunts, her sister called it TJ's. Like that was
like pennies.
Yeah,
my grandma called JC pennies.
That's right.
Yeah, we're going to
That's
pennies.
True. I've never heard anyone else call it TJ's, but they went, I guess, so often that they just called it TJ's. I was like, that blows my mind when I heard that. But anyway, now I shop there all the time.
That's impressive. TJ's. My sister worked at TJ Maxx.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I went to a TJ Maxx in Hilton Head Island last week. I did. We were flying out Saturday and we had.
This is so great. And you took a flight.
And we took a flight, which I want to talk to you about. 2 flights, 4 flights, technically.
Oh, layovers. Let's go.
I saw some airports. Anyway, the
was the last time you flew when you went to California when you were like 11 years old, back when people would just walk with a kid to the gate and say, here, 10-year-old, go ahead and get on this flight. Hopefully someone's on the other end to pick you up.
Very last flight home on Saturday.
Yeah.
There was a kid we were in the second last row and there was a kid flying by himself in the last row right behind me. He was 11.
You'd be allowed to do that anymore.
He was 11.
Did you talk to him?
No, but I heard him talking to the lady that sat next to him, behind me.
His
Anyway,
mom and dad probably said, "Do not talk to anybody."
he had green hair. You could tell it was, a real situation. But
Gotcha. Wow. Wasn't expected the green-haired kid to be the one.
She asked him where he lives. We were flying back into Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Ohio, he says.
Oh, yeah.
Where in Ohio? I don't know.
Okay.
Not looking for an address, just
yeah, bud.
Yeah, city, you got a region.
I'm not trying to be too creepy, but anywhere, middle. I don't know if Mike. Yeah, they know he lived in Cincinnati.
I think he ended up narrowing it down to somewhere around Dayton, maybe. He said, "I know it's not Columbus."
Oh, there you go. Okay, so this is
somewhere around
sounds like
Dayton.
he's moving to a new home.
He's visiting. He was visiting dad, and he's back to mom now, or something, or he's visiting dad or something. I felt like that was the case.
Okay.
Anyway, we had 4 hours to kill between the time we had to check out on Saturday and our flight leaving.
Okay.
Went and checked our bags at the airport, smallest airport I've ever seen in my life,
Absolutely.
Hilton Head Airport.
Yep.
And since there's nothing there, we can just find a place to eat there, whatever. We had to leave the airport. And so anyway, we went to this little shopping center place and found a TJ Maxx.
What did you purchase at TJ Maxx as you were leaving Hilton Head Island?
Nothing.
Oh, I just walked around just window shopping, huh?
I would have
window dressing.
Yeah, sure. And I'll go to the TJ Maxx by my house and do that all the time. But because they get new stuff, and that's the place you can get NBA gear,
Jordan gear.
Yeah.
How is it real? What's wrong with it that it ends up so cheap at TJ Maxx? I don't understand that.
I don't know how.
What is wrong with whatever? I mean, it's not like you're getting a Utah Jazz 1998 NBA championship shirt. It's like a legit.
They have stuff like that too. I feel like it's not a Goodwill, but it's
it's not like the shirts that they give to small islands in Africa or something.
I bought the runner-up championship shirts.
Yeah, you gotta have them both ready.
I bought 2 weeks ago maybe, but right before I left I was in TJ Maxx by my house, and I bought another Cavs shirt.
Why not?
They started stocking up on that stuff when LeBron got there and everything. It started getting big, and I was, I was watching Cavs games every day, so I kind of became a fan. And then, and then he left and stuff, and that fades. And they're good now again. But there was just a nice long sleeve shirt, like a fall shirt, and I was like, all right, I'll take that. It's $10 or whatever. It's 65 on
fall shirt. Nice. Yeah, that's the crazy part.
It's a long sleeve tee. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I'm like, this is cheating.
Somebody needs to, because I'll be 100% honest with you. I've been inside of TJ Maxx one time
to visit your sister.
No,
that's very sweet.
No, not even that. No, not a chance. I went in there. What was I in there for? I don't remember. Aaron was in there.
Is there a Delhi TJ Maxx?
No. Okay. No, I actually had to travel to Westwood.
Wow.
Is that Westwood? Is that considered Westwood?
Hills,
Western Hills?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. No, I had to travel. It was a long way to go. Speaking of a long way to go, I drove almost 400 miles for work today. It was a lot of miles out there, bud. A lot of windshield time today.
Wow.
A lot of windshield time today.
Let me ask you this.
Ask.
How do you feel about flying on airplanes?
I forgot we were talking about airplanes.
And we'll go back. We can go back to the.
I have nothing to say about driving today, except
I'm
for
glad
that.
you told me though.
I might have drove as far as you flew. No,
it sounds like it.
I don't mind flying on airplanes. I've gotten sick on airplanes. I get nauseous on everything, and I have gotten sick on an airplane a couple times. 2 different times. One because I was extremely hungover as a 17-year-old coming back from France, and the other one was we were just going to Washington State, so it was a long flight, and have I ever told you the story when I went out there?
I don't know. I don't.
All right, so we go to the state of we go to Washington, go visit a mill, a lumber mill that sells to me, and I got a customer with me, and my man, we're just sitting there talking. So it's a what's the flight where you pick your seat?
I think
The
that's
yellow people, Southwest. No.
Oh.
Like you're not. They don't give you a seat number. They just say you're the A. Okay, everybody that has an A on their ticket, get up, go find a seat on the plane.
Oh,
yeah, you just go find your own, just find a seat.
Huh.
So Southwest. So, it's broken up into sections of the plane, but you get sit in your section. All right. Besides the point. So I'm on the one in the aisle, and he's on the aisle on the other side of me. So we're talking to each other across the aisle.
Sure.
Sitting there talking, and we get this little bit of turbulence, and we're just sitting there, and he's just talking to me, and I look down because I always make sure that I got a doggy bag, and I had one in there. He's just looking at me, and he's talking, and we've talked before. It's good. He's a good friend of mine. With work, so we have conversations about stuff besides work. So he knows that I get nauseous pretty easy. And as he's talking, I pull the doggy bag out, look down, and I just yak it all up. He never stopped his story. He just kept talking. I wrapped that son of a gun up, took a little swig of water, sat right back there, and just had to finish my conversation with him. It was one of the, he just could, it mattered none at all that as he was talking to me, I started hurling in a bag.
So you've gotten sick more than once on flights?
Yeah. The other one was on the flight back from France, which was like a 10-hour flight or something, 12-hour flight or something.
I cannot imagine. I was lucky. I was thankful that this was 4 total flights because we had layovers down and back. The longest flight took, and all the flights took less time than they said they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
Hour and 15 minutes was the longest one, maybe.
Oh yeah, it's nothing.
So I was like, I was so thankful for that because I do not like. A couple times my mind started creeping in that you are in a box thousands of feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
The only way out of this, if it doesn't land smoothly, is dying.
You have a better chance of like getting struck by lightning than you do being a plane crash.
But I see videos of both on the internet.
Well, you stop looking at daggone internet.
Yeah. And it's the takeoff and the landing are the worst parts for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
Definitely
they're the most nervous parts of the whole thing.
Sure. Okay.
You get a rough pilot up there or some wind. The landing is the one for me. The takeoff is always like, ooh, okay, we're up off the ground. Once I'm off the ground, I'm like, this dude's got it. We're
really?
He's throwing this thing in autopilot from here. But when like coming down, that's what gets me. That's where I'm like, all right, because that first skid, and you're like, so I've had some that like you bounce up in the air and come back down.
Yeah.
And then I've had some where it's just nice. And it's like you didn't even feel it land. It's like, man,
they were all
my dude right here.
Yeah, the landings were all pretty smooth.
Sorry, could have been a woman flying a plane. I
could have been a lady. But anyway, the yeah, the takeoff for me, because I feel like every time it's like as we're going, we leave the ground, I'm like, holy cow! I've seen a video where it's like just after you leave the ground, something happens and they crash. They're only like a couple hundred feet in the air, or whatever.
What videos? What are you watching, dude?
I mean, over the years, you just see stuff. But anyway, the you take off, and there's even like a little it seems like there's a little like shift in the air where it's going or whatever as it's going up.
And
Yep,
pulls you up in the air, drops you down real quick.
I'm like, oh my god, please just get all the way where I feel like then you're on autopilot, where you get up there, you get smooth. Also, I know that you're going through clouds. That's where it's going to get bumpy. Once you get above the clouds, it's usually okay. But it's just very anxious times. And I'm glad you told me the vomit story, because Chris, I vomited 3 times on vacation.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Did you really?
I did.
What happened?
It was we were there for like 4 days. It was Thursday.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Did you puke because you were backed up?
No.
Okay. I know there's some people that have trouble dropping a deuce on vacation, like will not will not poop for a week until they get back to their house. I didn't know if that was your kind of flow or not.
It seems like it would be, right?
Yeah, it does.
I
Unlike me, when I go on vacation, I try, like, if we're in a big house with like 6 bathrooms and multiple families, I tell everybody I'm pooping in everybody's bathroom. That's my goal every vacation. I want to go in everyone's bathroom and drop a deuce at least once.
Luckily, we had 3 bathrooms in the house. So my brother's family had one, my sister's family had one, and then my dad and I shared one. And so, and it did take me 3 days from the time we got there to go.
I couldn't even imagine not. Oh,
I think I only went twice while we were there.
That's, I mean, that I go twice before noon.
Yeah. No,
it's not a joke. That is real life.
Yeah. And then again later in the day, huh?
Absolutely. Sometimes 2 more times.
Okay. Nice.
I'll tell you, like today, I dropped a deuce in the hotel. Before I left. I dropped a deuce at Walmart. Walmart doesn't have bad bathrooms. They keep bathrooms kind of clean.
Okay.
I dropped a deuce at a Walmart in, where was that? St. Albans, maybe? St. Albans or Taze Valley, West Virginia. I dropped a deuce at a Sheetz on my way back. That was in just outside of Ashland and Grayson. And then I dropped a deuce when I got home. I got 4 under my belt right now.
You got a 4-pack.
I got a 4-pack under my belt right now.
The Mount Rushmore of today's dumps.
I shat more times today than you did all last week.
Yes, that's true.
That's so bad. It's not good for you.
Yeah, I went a lot today though because I ate a lot last night.
That's much better.
So it's Thursday. I'm in school. I went back to school.
Right.
I can't take a break just because I'm on vacation from school. It keeps going. So I had to find some time to do schoolwork, have stuff due on Thursdays and Sundays normally. And there's tons of reading to do. So I really should be reading like throughout the week, a couple hours a night. By the way, I haven't touched anything yet for this week.
It's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday. I got something due tomorrow and I've got to read, 5 chapters or something like that.
It'll be fun.
And that's part of it. So I think it was a whole bunch of things because we went to breakfast at this place. It was a decent place that morning. And then I'm like, well, everybody else is going to go. I think one of the families was going to rent bikes. That's a big thing there.
Okay.
Rent bikes and ride around for a little bit. The other family, my sister's family, was going to go to the beach, I guess. So, or swimming or something. So I'm like, okay, good time. Nobody will be in the house. I need to spend time today doing my schoolwork. Most of it was going to be reading. So I did that. First of all, it's frozen in that house. Frozen. Okay. The first night, by the way, I'm doing schoolwork the first night we get there, which was a Sunday, and I had something due. I'm working on it. It's 11:05. Submit. All right, here we go. Vacation starts. Here we go. Everybody in the whole house is sleeping.
11 o'clock on the first night?
At 11 o'clock on the first night. Here's the thing.
Did they drive?
They drove.
Yeah.
Everybody else drove.
And your dad's asleep.
Yeah, I think just because everybody else. Vacation's way different with kids, man.
Bro, it's definitely different.
I'm telling you, huh?
I don't know about that.
Way
how
here's why
you had 1, 2, 3. You had 4 kids there?
Five.
There. Oh, Joey's got 3.
He's got 3. Ranging from 10 months to 8 years. 5 kids. I guess when you are a person who's not used to having kids 24 hours a day, it can be a lot. It can be a lot because now you're with 5 kids 24 hours a day.
Yep.
And honestly, I mean, a lot of what you do revolves kind of around the kids. I mean, some of the kids have trouble going from morning to evening without some sort of freak out breakdown.
100%. That is definitely true.
And so sometimes it's like we got to get back and try to get this one to take a little nap here because it's going to be a nightmare later.
Naps are very important, especially hot beach days and stuff.
Yep. And they don't want to take a nap. They're fighting it. So anyway, I think that's why it was such a big deal for me, because I live alone. I don't have kids. I and now and by the way, when I go on vacation, I'm a person that I'm in a different place that I'm not normally at, that I might not ever be at or whatever again. I want to do as much as I can. Number one, I would like to mostly plan it out. And number two, I would like to see and do as much as I can while I'm there.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody feels that way.
No, some people might just want to have 6 days on the beach.
It's a vacation. You just relax. You don't do anything.
It's very important. I've come to learn it's very important when going on vacation with family, with multiple different families inside of that family.
And you've done that plenty.
To make sure everybody knows, y'all want to do something, go do it. Just go. You don't have to wait for all of us to do it. If somebody else wants to go, they'll go with you.
Yeah.
Let it be known, I want to do this today. And then by golly, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. And in theory, of course, when you are there together, though, like you mostly kind of want to try to do the same things. You know what I mean? But yeah, but like I'm more and more able to go do things by myself. I've gone on vacations by myself, but like there, I was like, I like to try to. I wanted to go to Savannah. Never been to Savannah. I've heard people talk about it so much.
So cool.
And so I'm like, that's the one thing I definitely want to do while I'm here. The week is going on. It's nice. It's great to get away. It's great to get away from work for sure. Nice to actually get everybody in the family together at the same time. I think everything just kind of built up. I'm an anxious, nervous person that can feel stress easily sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I think it all built up by Thursday. And I sat there and stared at a computer screen, freezing my buns off all day long on Thursday. And I'm like, it's now like the work that I have to do to turn in by that night is weighing on me. I ate breakfast and then I didn't eat a whole lot the rest of the day. And it's kind of like, okay, there's a lot of people here. I'm in a strange place. I'm not comfortable. It's nice to be on vacation and I am enjoying a lot of it.
Yeah.
But there's just being out of my element is hard for me. I think it all built up. Also some other stuff too. And it was all kind of building up. And I think I just started over the course of the day, felt a little bit more got the little headache like behind the eyes or in the forehead.
Yes.
And then I know like when I get that certain type of headache, I'm going to get nauseous and I'm probably going to get sick. It happens once in a while. So I'm like, I'm fighting it. I'm like, come on, man. Just, you gotta get through this. You gotta finish this. You gotta finish the schoolwork and turn it in. You're going to be fine. Then you can relax. Right. Everybody comes back. Now I got to try to find some place to go where I can't, there's really no place to go where you can just kind of get away from everybody and have quiet. So I'm trying to do the work. I'm feeling bad. Everybody else is back. The just everything being different in my life suddenly is it's all coming up. And finally, so I think my brother and two of his kids are in like the downstairs part where I was. Yeah. There's a TV and the kids sat, watch their TV down there a lot. They were sitting right there. I was just around this little, like in this little nook, they had this little desk and that's where I was, like right there though, right outside the bathroom. I got to a point where I'm like, it's coming. Here it comes. Here she comes. And got up, didn't say anything, walked into the restroom, closed the door, locked it.
Hit the old lock button. Did you turn the water on?
No,
you didn't care if anybody heard you. Are you a big dry heaver? Do you get a lot? Is it a lot of noise?
It's a pretty big noise.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm like a big like coughing noise.
Yeah.
And then it comes
out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
everybody knew what was going on.
everybody downstairs knew. Yep. My brother and his kids knew. And I was in there. And the first time it was, I get your face down to the bowl and you try to, get it all in. Well, it was violent. The first one.
The first one is so violent. Okay. I want you to continue this.
I mean, it got on the seat, on the back, some splash on the floor around,
Oh, that is violent.
Yeah,
man.
And so, I took me a few minutes and I did it. And,
then you got to sit there because there's always a second that comes almost immediately because you're never all the way done when you feel like you're done.
Yes. And I don't, I wasn't sure. You're never positive, you're like, okay, so how do I now you assess when you think you're done. Now you assess, do I feel better? Because sometimes you feel better.
Yep.
And then I'm like,
so I got the cold sweats going now. Yeah. What's coming? What do we got?
And that part wasn't too bad
because you weren't you weren't sick. Right.
But I wasn't positive that I wasn't sick yet. I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I threw up and so come out of the bathroom. I'm going to have to find some stuff to clean this up. Some cleaning products. I walk out, look over. Sorry about that, guys. My brother goes,
"You good, bud?
What was that about?" Like, not sure, man. Not sure. I think a lot of things. So anyway, I get some, he helps me out. He goes and actually gets me some crackers and some Gatorade and stuff and got me some wipes. I go in there, I clean the bathroom up and come back out, sit back down and start my homework again.
Oh no.
5-10 minutes later.
Here it comes.
I don't feel better.
No.
Here she comes again. Get up, go in there. Same old deal.
So here's the thing. Did you have enough there? Because a lot of times that second or sometimes third is the worst because there's nothing left. And it's just a dry heave that might be worse than a violent puke. A constant dry heave, I feel like, could be almost worse than that.
After the second one.
Just something's got to come out. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going.
And I'm always, whenever I throw up for any reason, I'm always afraid to eat anything after that for a long time. Yep. I'm like, I don't know what's going to make me, if this is this going to make me sick? So, I come out and I take like a few sips of water, go back in there, throw up again. There's still enough that there's still some food and stuff in there. And I didn't eat a ton that day. Like I said, the third one was the 2 ounces of water I drank, and that was it. And some bile or whatever.
Oh, yes, the yellow.
It was actually mostly clear. The third one was mostly clear because there was nothing. The second one was first and the second one were yellow. So that was it. I went 3 times and then finished up my schoolwork.
You threw up more than you pooped.
Yes, I did.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's true.
It's amazing that you didn't hit them both at the same time and get one of them accidentals.
I would have loved for it to come out the other end instead.
Oh, I'm saying at the same time. Yeah. When you get the old accidental on the sitting down there thinking that you got, I have been sitting going, oh boy, and you got the watery, it's just like Mount, I don't know, something coming out of your backside.
Mount Rushmore.
It
rushes.
Yeah, it rushes. Definitely rushes. And then gone, and hit the toilet flush really quick because I know my face is about to be where that Hershey squirt just was.
That's right.
And but I never had the accidental, like as you're puking, let go from behind.
I was gonna say I don't
never had that.
I've come close to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've sat on the toilet with and had a bucket just in case. But I don't think I've ever had the old like on the floor, head on the porcelain throne, and then oh god, now I gotta clean up my drawers too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank goodness that we've never experienced that. But anyway, so I got sick. So Friday is the day, and earlier that day, people are talking to me like, I think everybody else had been to Savannah except for my dad, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can take it or leave it. He's like, whatever everybody else is doing, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would like to go to Savannah. And everybody's like, it's so hot there.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean,
it's hot where you're at too.
Yeah, right. And, bugs and all that kind of stuff, which I'm normally always worried about. So I finished my schoolwork on Thursday night, submit it, go to bed pretty much right away. I'm like, all right, I just got to get to sleep.
Yep.
Just got to get to sleep. I think I'm going to be okay. Friday morning, I sleep fine. Friday morning, I get up. I'm trying to assess how I'm feeling. Is this better? What kind of score we got on the ladies' game?
1-1.
Still 1-1. Okay.
Yeah, the game's over.
Oh,
I think they tied. And I think it became a tie. Although Rose Lavelle in extra time may have just had a really bad concussion on a head ball. Do you know Rose Lavelle?
I know the name.
She's from Cincinnati.
Yes, that's right. That's why I know her. Somebody else from Cincinnati too, right?
Is
two?
there? I didn't know there was two. I knew Rose was.
I thought there was two, maybe. Is Alex Morgan from Cincinnati?
No.
Okay. Those are the only two names. Brandy Chastain.
No.
Megan Rapinoe.
Megan Rapinoe still there. And then
last one, right? She's retiring after this. Right?
I'm sure. Yeah, she's old as dirt. And then
probably all right.
Zach Ertz's wife.
Oh.
She's back from having a kid and she's back on the team.
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Ertz.
Yeah. She's defense lady, defensor. She's on the backside.
All-time defense.
All-time defense.
Nice.
All-time defense.
My brother's family was nice enough to Friday morning. Everybody's like, okay, are you sick? Do you need to stay away from us? I'm like, I don't know for sure, but I think I'm okay now.
Yeah.
I think I started thinking about all the stuff and I'm like,
I had a lot going on.
I think I just
had a lot going on, man. Yeah.
So anyway, so they plan, they're like, all right, well, if you want to go to Savannah, I guess.
Let's roll.
At first they were like, let's forget about that.
You're not feeling good. Let's make sure you're all right.
That's right. So, but a couple hours went by and they're like, you know what? Let's go. Yeah. Let's do it. So, and they had been there before, at least my brother and his wife did. And so they were very nice enough to, and they drove down. So they drove all of us there and we did a trolley tour. And
that's
Savannah.
The coolest part.
Yep.
You can get on and off and all that stuff. It's pretty cool little deal. Yeah.
It was blazing hot, but
how many squares did you see?
Oh yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the one of them is a haunted. There's a bunch of haunted stuff there. They say, but one of them is like the Girl Scouts of America's. How does that go? Isn't that one of the haunted ones?
I don't remember. I remember
lady who started the Girl Scouts or something. I can't remember how it all goes.
Yeah. There was it was cool to hear the history, and the tour guide we had was awesome. He was great. But the whole thing that was cool. And then we went and ate at Paula Dean's restaurant.
Oh yeah. Did you hear any N-bombs or anything?
I didn't. I was expecting to.
That's good.
But you know what? I did think about that while I was there. And we sat in there.
See Paula Dean, you always got to see. You pick that.
And you know what else?
Huh.
Every time a black person walked into that restaurant to eat, or as I was looking around, I'm like, wow, either they didn't ever hear about that, or it's been long enough. Maybe they forgot, or they don't care.
Or they took it like a lot of people did back when that happened. They were like, oh, she's great. But that's just how they talk. That's how they talked back then. And, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse, but there were a lot of people that wrote it off that way.
I thought about that. Yeah. So anyway, that's what we did. And then got back, and I was fine after that, health wise and everything.
So you got to go to Savannah.
I got to go to Savannah. I mean, we were there for 4 or 5 hours.
That's a lot.
Yeah. We could probably spend like a day or two there and
absolutely
see everything or whatever, but it was fine. It was fine. And it was really, really nice of my brother and his family to do that with me. So that I didn't have to by myself. Cause I probably, at that point I was like, if nobody else is going, I'll just, yeah.
How many beach days did you get?
4.
And when you would go to the beach, is it like, all right, it's morning, we're out at the beach by 9 or 10 and locked in, like, boom, it's dinner time and we're getting out of here?
I would have preferred be at the beach 9 or 10, be there a couple hours, do other things in the middle of the day that's not just sitting there, just being on the beach, and then maybe go back in the evening for an hour or two.
Sure, yeah.
Because I think temperature wise, weather wise, it makes a little bit more sense that way. And busy, like crowd wise. Yeah. Here's what I did. The first 3 days, I was the first one up. I went on a walk on the beach by myself.
There you go. Nice.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I was up at like 8 every day, and I got more sleep on vacation than I do ever during a regular week.
That's good.
Everybody, because the kids were all going to bed, and so everybody just went to bed.
So you got little kids too. So that's different from all the vacations that I go on with family, because when we had little kids, when they were little and went to bed early and like had bedtimes and stuff, we would put them to bed, and then it was time to have vacation.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a little different.
Yeah. I think for some of them, they had to be with the kids to get them to sleep. And then a couple, like my sister,
start just zoning out too. You're out. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what happened with that. But yes, so the beach, yeah, we had some beach days. So that's what I liked doing that. And I want to do, like, I can't just sit.
Did you wear a t-shirt at the beach the whole time?
The whole time.
Yeah.
There was one walk. It was hot even in the morning.
Took
even
the shirt off, huh?
I was by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not very many people here.
Mm-hmm.
All of these people are never going to see me again.
Good for you for realizing that.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not
good. That's not hard. Me. No, that's very difficult for people to do. So
right.
Good for you.
So I'm like, you know what? And I was like, my neck by this point is brown.
Mm-hmm.
My forearms are brown.
Ning.
This
white as a ghost.
White.
Yeah, almost incandescent.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, looks like a light bulb. So that's what I did. I mean, it's maybe 10 minutes of shirt off in the sun.
Okay.
And I'm like, maybe this will be enough sun to sort of blend it in a little.
So the Wits, my exact family, like me, my wife, my kids, we go, like, I love the beach. I would just sit at a beach. I can make that my vacation. Wake up in the morning, go down, put a little canopy up, get my little chair set up right on the edge of the shade, so I can go in and out of the shade into the sun when I want to go. Walk out, take a little dip in the ocean so I can pee, and then come back out, and then sit back and just sit and chill. Or if P wants to throw football, if the girls want to get buried, or I do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I could just sit at the beach and relax for an entire week. My mom will take the kids sometimes, or her mom will take, depending on who we're on vacation with, and like take them up when they're done, because the kids get done with the beach, and go up, and they'll start getting them ready in showers, and me and Aaron will just sit there, not say a word to each other for 2 hours, and just
that's beautiful.
Stare into the water.
That's nice. That's nice because you get the quiet now.
I've got a Rose radio going on all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've always got the radio. Yeah.
But you don't have responsibilities around you.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't, like, thank God my brother bought this like ball. Was like the size of a baseball basically, but it's like a soft kind of rubbery ball.
See, it's something to do
specifically for water and stuff. My brother-in-law bought a football kind of specifically for that too. So I got to do something like that. I got to get up 100%. And toss. I got to take a walk. I don't just want to sit there because it's blazing hot, and look, there's a breeze the whole time. Basically, you're on the beach,
is just dripping.
But the breeze is nice, but it's also a warm breeze. It's still hot. So, and I just don't sit still for a long time. Well, so I got to do something like that if I'm going to the beach. And then you have all the sand stuff, and you have, millions of people peeing in that thing, and wildlife peeing in the thing, and swimming around and everything in there.
You're swimming in their dung.
Want to go in there, right? So that's a big reason why I don't want to go in. But I did. I went
knee deep.
I went knee a little more. I went mostly legs deep.
Oh, okay.
Into the water, which is way more than I was expecting to.
Yeah. Well done.
Thanks.
You're in Hilton Head. Could you see much? You couldn't see. Like you got there. You're on the Atlantic side. You can't even see your feet. See, that's why I like the Gulf. I can see my feet. I can be up to my chest, see my feet. Wow. So I don't know if that's better or worse because I'm always looking out and you see all them little fish swimming around.
I'd have trouble with that.
Yeah. I'm a tiptoer. Like my dad and my sister would use their feet and dig in, go out chest deep, whatever, and dig in the sand and find sand dollars. They do it all the time. I'm on my tiptoes, man. And if I feel something that that wasn't sand, I'm up in the air, like doggy paddling to a further away area.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll swim, I'll catch a boogie board and I'll ride a wave with anybody, but I don't like touching things that I don't know what's going on.
Especially if you can't see them.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah. I'm very much like that.
I end up with blisters on the tips of my toes, my big toes, almost every time because that's how I dance around in the sand. Fruit fly, gnat, something flying around the old
and those things were all over the place.
Oh yeah,
boy, my legs were all bitten up.
Sand gnats. What are they called?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sand gnats.
Sand gnats. Yeah.
And some like 1 out of every 50 people are allergic to them, and not everybody. I had a buddy. Went for baseball last year to Maryland, Ocean City, Maryland, and next day he comes out and he's got welts from his toes to his head. He wore pants and a long sleeve shirt to the beach every day we went out to the beach.
Here's what I also did. So I bought sunglasses and a hat. I found, and I looked for them for a while, for weeks before this, and I couldn't really find the right ones in stores or anything. I got online and bought water shoes.
Yes. I always say I want to get water shoes.
They're good too. Yeah. I liked them. I'm really glad. And they don't look like, really dumb.
No, but they're gone. It would make me feel better in the ocean if I had water shoes.
Definitely get water shoes. In fact, I'll give you that's kind of gross, but you don't care.
It's true. I don't in any way, shape, or form.
It's they were, I think I got some decent ones and they were only like $25 or whatever. So
neither of us are sunglasses guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I don't wear it. Like it could be, blazing sun on a baseball game, and I can't. I don't wear sunglasses. Driving in a car, I always have a hat, 100%. Driving in a car, I don't wear sunglasses. I keep sunglasses in there. If it's something like if the sun's in my eyes, I still don't use them. I just put the little flap down and I use it the right way. You know what I mean? I'm not a sunglasses guy. I have a couple pair and I'll wear them here and there. Whatever. But to the beach, I like to make sure I have a pair of sunglasses. It's just it's a different type of bright.
Yeah.
When you're out there. So I'll have sunglasses there, and I always want to take them off when I'm at the beach because I'm like, man, I want to get this goofy line on the side of my head, like a goofy tan line on the side of my head.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I was going with that, but my sister one year, my sister never knows what to get me for Christmas. Like I've got some great one year for Christmas. I got a cheeseburger piggy bank.
Yeah.
So I mean, like good stuff, right? Like only the best. She got me, you remember like blue blockers where you can like go on like as seen on TV. There's like as seen on TV stores. She got me a 2-pack of I had some kind of like knockoff blue blockers or something like that. And I have one of those pairs left. The other pair I had them on my head, on my hat. Is the only baseball game last year I had them on my hat. I never put them on. And I'm walking out to the umpire and it's this 90-year-old man. Did I tell you about the umpire who had the brush on a stick?
Already?
Not sure if we're recording or not, but we just exit out of this bad boy.
Sure.
Let's see what happens.
Something. Holy smokes.
Yeah, so
just in case, we'll just keep going.
Yeah. Hey. I'm not sure how the audio is going to sound there, but the computer went blank for a second. So anyway, this old dude, he's like 90 years old. And he's like, I said, hey, bud, how you doing today? He's like, well, the only thing I forgot was my sunglasses. And I said, brother, I never wear sunglasses. Do you want to wear these? And he takes them, puts them on, and he wore my sunglasses for the entire game.
Oh, nice. You get a call?
And then he turned around and left the game.
Oh, he stole your.
Never even offered to give my sunglasses back to me.
Crook.
Now, this dude was extremely old. He couldn't bend over to brush the plate off. He pulled his plate brush out of his pocket, and it had an extender handle.
Telescopic brush.
It was. And he would brush the plate off while he was standing up, put it back in, and he loved it because everybody was laughing. Everybody thought it was so great, and he could hardly move. I don't know why he's still doing what he's doing, but yeah. I
feel like every home should have that, really. Oh man. Speaking of old, I mean, we're all over the place, really, but Mitch McConnell is a politician of some sort, governor of maybe Kentucky,
senator
of Kentucky,
congressman.
Yeah,
he's the head.
He's a guy in politics, right?
This is how bad I am with that. I don't know. He is the he was the majority leader of the House when
white man majority
when the Republicans held the House.
Okay, and he still still does something.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the video today?
Oh no, what happened?
The poor guy is just like Joe Biden. I mean, these guys are 100 years old,
and they sound he sounds like a robot.
Mitch McConnell does?
Yeah.
So I haven't heard.
I don't know if he's had a stroke or what, but
speaking of that, he earlier today is given some kind of press conference speech, something, and he's talking, and you can't understand what he's saying anyway, but he's talking, and all of a sudden in the middle of a sentence, maybe even a word, stops, frozen for 30 seconds.
Can we all agree there should be term limits for these people?
Of course. And like 3 or 4 people were like,
hey bud, you live still?
They went up and they had to like, they were like, are you okay? And he couldn't even answer them. He just,
so he literally had a stroke.
I don't know. He didn't move. He didn't talk. He didn't say anything. And people like came up and they're like, are you okay? And he was like, he wasn't even there.
Oh man, that's terrible.
It was scary, but
it's freaky.
It's all over the internet now.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna make memes and all kinds of stuff, and people that's what sucks about these people, like him and
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden,
whatever you feel, and I have no opinion.
And I was thinking about the lady Nancy Pelosi that everybody hates. Like they're all so old, and they all say and do the dumbest things. And then when somebody actually is legit, like somebody broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and hit her husband with a hammer.
Oh my God.
And people were like making fun of him. Like, I don't like her, right? Who cares? That's terrible.
I know.
And then somebody like that, like a lot of people hate him, Mitch McConnell. But then that poor guy had a stroke, it sounds like. And his family's probably really freaked out and worried. And people are going to just sit there and make fun of him. It's so ridiculous how people act.
You always wonder that with Joe Biden too, because he's so old now.
And once you become president, it like puts 20 more years on you instantly.
Yep.
Look at Barack Obama. Look at all of the presidents that have been out there, man. They get old quick.
And it's so funny. There are so many really funny videos of Joe Biden trying to say stuff, and and then like people will put like subtitles of what it sounds like, and it's something like crazy way out there.
So so Joe Biden used to be a pretty good speaker. Like he gave pretty decent speeches. He's an old man now, right? People are writing his stuff and he's just reading it on a teleprompter. And every once in a while, bud, that's hard. I'm sure that's hard to read when you're 90 years old. Or what is he? He's almost 80. He's like 70 something.
I don't know what he is.
That's got to be hard to read sometimes. And he just gets to blabbering. Same way with questions. When he get like his team, like he has taken the least amount of questions from the White House press than any president has ever taken. they won't like, they're like started pulling him off. Like people started asking, he makes a speech, people started asking questions and they're like grabbing him. Like, nope, you ain't saying nothing. You said exactly what we wrote for you. And there's nothing, you ain't going to say nothing. He was yelling at a guy the other one day, just started. And then he came back over and was like, I just like to, whoever that was, you're just doing your job. I kind of blew up. I apologize.
Oh, wow.
Good for you for coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you see that and they're really funny because
for all we know, they're having strokes.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, is it like, is he so old now that he's really struggling to speak? And that's why, because then I feel bad. But
if that's so, I get why the people laugh at it and stuff,
funny
because it is funny. And that's the president of the United States. That's the head of our country.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part, it's like, oh my God, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. But like on a personal note, it's like, all right, man, somebody come get their grandpa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
great grandpa.
Go take him back to Bailey Place.
Bailey Place. He should move to Bailey Place after this time. Anyway, man, we were all over. I mean, I'm open to talking about anything you want, or we can get into our Mount Rushmore.
But the Mount Rushmore is pretty good. We can spend some time on this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into the Mount Rushmore. This week's Mount Rushmore is wrestling managers.
Yeah.
We kind of talked a little bit about valets, because there's a little bit different of a valet and a manager, right? A manager, a lot of times they give managers to new guys, up and coming guys, maybe aren't really good with the promos or the live speaking. So they give you a manager that can come out and basically talk for you. And for a lot of people, that could be a death sentence. Like if you're a quiet person, like you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So, we kind of talked about it. I think we're going to obviously go with both, right? Like if you walk down the aisle with somebody, then we're going to call you their manager.
Yes.
Okay.
Valets count. Yep.
Good. Well, how you want to do this, bud? You just want to start talking about a few of these things and then put your Mount Rushmore up? Because I don't have my 4 written. I don't have them like picked out.
Okay.
I mean, I've started a few.
How many do you know are going to be on it?
Well, I'll just start.
Do it.
Jimmy Hart absolutely is on it. That dude, maybe the greatest manager ever. I got to go Jimmy Hart with the Hart Foundation and so many others. Bobby the Brain Heenan might have been one of the greatest managers ever.
Yep.
So Bobby the Brain Heenan is 100% on mine. Now you got to remember, we were both, that was our, like the mid to late 80s where it was our prime.
Yep.
In this.
Into the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then the greatest manager, no, sorry, I think Jimmy Hart's the greatest, but the other guy that has to be on there is Paul Bearer. Yeah. Paul Bearer was a manager, like before he was Paul Bearer, he was somebody else. Like he done it with many other people, and he's a totally different kind of cat, right? Like he took on that Paul Bearer persona, and like it was a whole different person than who he is. It's so amazing because as you're a kid, you're like, that's who that guy is. He is Paul Bearer. Like that, they do such a good job with that. And then you're like, oh, it's a normal dude.
Yeah.
And they all switch their gimmicks. Like they could just switch their gimmick in like a week.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin literally in the span of a month changed from stunning Steve Austin to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. Literally in like just a couple weeks. It's amazing how you can get these gimmicks. And he was also part of the Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah.
Like you could go from so anyway. Besides that, I got those 3 on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you not put Miss Elizabeth on there? Mm-hmm. You've got Ted DiBiase, when he stopped wrestling, became a really good manager. And when he was wrestling still towards the very end of his career, he had Virgil.
Yep.
Who was a manager / wrestler and ended up in the NWO there for a little while in WCW.
Loves Olive Garden.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Virgil is a interesting follow on Twitter.
Really?
Oh yeah. He's a strange guy.
Well, I mean, so I talk about this all the time. I'm addicted to wrestling shows. Like WWE Rivals is one, and it's a lot of them are on Vice or on Stars. So you have WWE Rivals, you have Dark Side of the Ring, just WWE biographies. There's so many of these out there, and I've watched every one of them. I love them. All of these dudes they're all a little off.
Yeah.
I just watched the whole thing on Abdullah the Butcher, man. That dude was messed up. He wasn't messed up. I mean, yeah, his in-ring stuff was messed up. Yeah. You can't be a normal person and do that.
Yeah. It's one thing when you're playing a character with a really specific thing like that, but also, yeah. But and I guess the lifestyle is part of it. And
the lifestyle is a big part of it,
choosing to
especially back in the territory days, right? So you'd spend 6 months in Florida, 6 months in Portland, and if you're a heel, you're getting people over, you're getting the baby face in that area over, and you're doing all this stuff. And however good you are, if you're really known, that's huge for that territory to bring you in. They're going to give you a bunch of money because you're selling this place out. And like the rules back then were, if you get in a fight, you beat the living crap. If somebody tries to get in a fight and you're just in a restaurant afterwards, you are who you are, and you beat the daylights out of them, or else you're fired.
There's a term for
kayfabe.
Them having
kayfabe.
Kayfabe. That's it.
Yeah,
where you have
kayfabe.
You have to be your persona.
Like these dudes were best friends, but they were, one was babyface, one's a heel, and they're against each other, and they're like, you cannot be seen outside. You cannot be seen together.
Yep.
And who was it? It was Ric Flair. Was it Ric Flair? Somebody was in the hospital. I think it was Ric Flair after one of his plane wrecks. And Dusty Rhodes, him and Dusty Rhodes were in this big, back and forth thing against each other. And like it had to look like, and Dusty Rhodes got snuck up the back entrance of a hospital. They talked the security guards into this because they didn't want the promoter refused to let them walk in through the front door and see this guy going to visit him because they hate each other.
Yeah. That reminds me of an interesting Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
His podcast, he had Hulk Hogan on this week.
Nice.
It was really cool.
That
told a bunch of stories.
Really good one.
Talked a lot about Ric Flair, told some Ric Flair stories and stuff like that.
I just watched a biography, didn't finish it yet. When I drive these long drives, man, that's so bad. I shouldn't do it, but just put the little phone up, just
glance down.
I'm listening to them 99% of it. But like Charlotte Flair, who's in there now, her real name's Ashley Fleer. I mean, his name's Fleer, FLIEHO. I don't know, something.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. But her name's Ashley, but she was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. They call her Charlotte. She's Charlotte Flair. She's Ric Flair's daughter, legit. And like the whole thing, it's awesome. I love it. I love it. So watching these things, you see all these guys that you're like, oh, he did that for a little while. What? He was this? Who? Undertaker? Like when he first came out, he was just a big giant dude, and like they didn't know what to do with him. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep.
So anyway, I also wrote down Sensational Sherry. She had a bunch of people there for a while. Obviously, Sable was that the Attitude Era, I want to say, in WWE, and then she did the Playboy and Mark Marrow, and now she's married to Brock Lesnar. Like she's been married to Brock Lesnar for damn near 10 years.
Yeah.
No, longer than that. Almost 20 years.
Almost 20, yeah. 17 or so, yeah.
Unbelievable. I never knew that. Never knew that. So Ted DiBiase, that's what Ted DiBiase was awesome. The $1 Million Man, and then he had the $1 Million belt, and then he like gave the $1 Million belt to people, and because when he had it, Virgil was in charge. But then, Ted DiBiase became a manager as he got older. Jim Cornette is a guy that I don't remember him as a kid.
Me either.
But
he's been around
all of these wrestling, he was back in the old territory days, and he was the manager for a lot of people. And he does these behind the ropes and all this stuff, and he tells it all, man. People hate him. They say some of the stories he makes up aren't real, he tells aren't real, but he's like, I promise you 100% this happened. and he'll tell a story, and because they're outlandish, they're crazy and outlandish, but he's telling them the same way he would be if he was a manager, right? Like he's just an kind of outlandish kind of cat.
Paul Heyman is that way for me too.
Paul Heyman is totally different now. Like Paul Heyman, when ECW, so he was a manager back in the day as well. And then he turned into, he started at ECW. WWE bought ECW. He started kind of doing the manager thing for people, and he locked into Brock Lesnar. And then after Lesnar went and did his UFC thing, he locked into Roman Reigns. And, you know, he just like the best of the best in that moment. He was their manager, and he's still with Roman Reigns now. And Roman Reigns has had the WWE title for like some record 1,000 days or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. 3 or 4 years or something.
It's insane. But Paul Heyman was crazy back then, dude. Crazy with that mullet and a ponytail with a hat all the time. He'd have a suit on with a hat and a ponytail. Now he's bald, and I'm sure he's bald back then too. And he's got his hair cut short, and he's always got like dressed to the nines suit wise now. Always looks great. But he's still, Paul Heyman's a good one. That's another good one. And
I just don't remember him as much as some of the other guys from when I was young.
He's a lot more in the truth when he took over with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and kind of did that whole thing. That's when it started he started really getting big on the manager side of things.
Yeah.
I still watch now.
I know. I know a few people that do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. But yeah. I mean, it's, you know, and Paul Bearer with Kane and the whole storyline with Kane and Undertaker, and that was the craziest time. And it was when I really wasn't watching that much because I got hooked into WCW when WCW brought Hulk in and all that and Macho Man and the NWO and then the Wolf Pack and all that stuff. Like I was locked in to WCW. I hardly watched WWE at all. Like the Stone Cold time, the Rock era, I didn't really watch a lot of that until it was only a good like 4 or 5 year run that WCW really had as the main guy before they took back over.
Yep.
So yeah. You got anybody else on your list? I got to come up with a fifth or fourth, and I'll figure it out. Is there anybody that I missed and I didn't say their name that you had written down?
Classy Freddie Blassie.
Yeah.
He was Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov and Jesse Ventura and Adrian Adonis. He was their manager for a while.
He was Adrian Adonis's manager?
Yeah, I guess at some point he was, yeah. Captain Lou Albano.
Captain Lou Albano with the whole deal with the very first WrestleMania, or was it WrestleMania 3, whichever one it was, when Cyndi Lauper, he was in a Cyndi Lauper music video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Cyndi Lauper came in, and this is all stuff that I don't really remember that much because it was like, you know, I would have been 3 years old. But then watching all these things, dude, like that's how the MTV and the rock and wrestling came together, and Hulk Hogan would be guest VJ on MTV, and Cyndi Lauper was the vocalist of the year or something, and Roddy Piper's like kicking her and beating her up, and Lou Albano, he breaks a platinum record over Lou Albano's head, and now Lou Albano and Hulk Hogan are going after Roddy Piper, and oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much. It's so much fun. It's so great.
I'm trying to think if there was anybody else. I think you mentioned Mr. Fuji was another one.
Oh, Mr. Fuji. Yeah, I forgot about him.
I think everybody else you mentioned, and I'll make it nice and boring and say the three, Paul Bearer, Jimmy Hart, and Bobby Heenan, were locks for me as well.
Yes.
And my fourth, I thought about a little bit. But I put Miss Elizabeth on there just because.
So I keep feeling like that would be the one I would go to. And then, you know, I want to, you start looking at some of these things. And I mean, JJ Dillon was technically the manager of the original Four Horsemen, but I mean, Ric Flair was the mouth of the Four Horsemen. You know what I mean? Like he basically didn't do like,
Yep.
But he was a big part of that whole Four Horsemen coming together.
You know, I always forget about the time that Jimmy Hart was Hulk Hogan's manager for a while.
Yeah.
I forget about that.
And the Iron Sheik was a manager. Like Iron Sheik would come out with people, and so did Sergeant Slaughter was coming out with people for a while. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people like that. And Jerry Lawler, I guess Lawler was just a ring announcer. He never really was a manager.
Yeah, I feel like he was. It feels like he was a manager, but I don't know. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the mouth of the South, I mean, Jimmy Hart is, I mean, there's no doubt that's the best of all time.
Yep.
I think I might have to go exactly with you. I think I'm going to go Miss Elizabeth because she was amazing. I mean,
it was just her and Randy Savage were just the biggest thing besides Hogan for a while back then. You know, I mean, and they were really married in real life, and it was, you know,
that's another one, dude, behind Dark Side of the Ropes, Macho Man Savage, or I don't know if it's Macho Man or if it's on her, but dude, oh boy.
Yep.
Hogan's got some stories on them too, because they were really tight. Like they were really close, and their wives were really close.
They all live in Florida. Everybody, all the wrestlers live in Florida. And he even mentioned I watched, I think, the Macho Man biography, I want to say, not too long ago, and Hogan was talking about it then. And
they also he also hated Hogan for a while too.
Yeah, from what Hogan says, for no reason or whatever, because
Hulk Hogan says everybody hates him for no reason, but there's a lot of people that hate Hulk Hogan.
I know,
a lot of people.
It was kind of a turkey.
But you got to think about it. Like I hear you, all these other shows that I watch, right? They always talk about like it's real heat. They call it heat, right? When the fans hate you, that's heat, and they get, you know. But there's some real heat backstage, like because when they make that decision that you're going to be number one and you're going to make the most money because you're wrestling the most, your name's on all the merchandise that's getting sold, you got your rights there, that's the big money spot. Everybody wants it.
Yep.
So, you know, if somebody feels like, so Hulk Hogan was the numero uno guy for 20 years,
long time.
You know what I mean? So there's going to be some people that dislike him.
Yep.
And I'm sure he did and probably said some stuff to people that deserved it, because those dudes are all big, macho, you know, that's just the types of dudes they are. You know what I mean? A lot of them were in steroids for a long time. And then just like did you watch the American Gladiators? It's like, oh, no, we're not taking steroids. No. I promise you, we are steroid free. Now we are taking a ton of human growth hormones.
Yeah.
HGH is rampant, but because you can't test for HGH. The way they test for HGH is to test for the estrogen in the masking agents or whatever. That's how they test for it. You've got to fail because you took something else. I don't know how that whole thing works, but it's something to that nature.
I don't either, but that's definitely I was thinking of something. So Andre the Giant, and so are you going with Miss Elizabeth?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miss Elizabeth.
All right, we are we're making an exact match on our Mount Rushmore. So Hulk Hogan, we've all heard a million Andre the Giant stories, right?
Yes.
It's probably my favorite person to hear stories about in wrestling. Hogan told one the other day that I had never heard before on Theo's podcast. He said, pretty early on, Hogan was getting real big, but it was early.
Yep.
And he was wrestling Andre.
Oh yeah, these are good ones.
And he said, and Hogan said, I never talked about a match beforehand. He's like, we didn't plan anything. He's like, we just went out there and you just feel it out, and you know. And he said, you know, so I think one day he asked Andre, like, okay, what do you want to do something specific?
They usually have, they'll kind of talk about it. They've got the roundabout, but they go off the crowd feeling and they're talking throughout the entire thing.
And he said, Andre said, don't worry, or something like that.
So this was WrestleMania 3, I want to say this story comes from.
Oh, maybe, but actually,
because Andre the Giant at this time is old and he's got a lot of issues. The dude can barely walk, much less wrestle. And Hogan was really nervous, like, because they were going to pass the belt down. Actually, Hogan said he didn't know if they were going to pass. He didn't know what the finish was going to be. They usually have that conversation before. And Hogan said it's the only match he's ever wrestled in that he did not, when he went into it, he did not know who was going to win.
The outcome. Yeah. But anyway, actually different story. He said they were wrestling early on, and Hogan took this stewardess from the flight that he met going down there, wherever they were, brought her with him, and he put her in the first row and stuff. And they were wrestling, got out of the ring at one point, and she was in the first row and they were right there. And she said something like, come on, Terry, or something like that. And Andre knew that she was there with him somehow, like because of that. And he didn't like that. He didn't like that he brought a girl there and put her in the first row because he was like showing off for her. Andre's like, you're not going to do that against me. So he I forget what he said. He threw him back in the ring and started like pounding on him. And he did something. He said he did something to him. I can't remember what it was now, but he was like really hurting him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no more girls. and Hogan said, yes, sir. No, yes, sir. I promise I'll never do that again. He said, I never did that again.
Yeah.
Because Andre didn't like that. He said, I was afraid of Andre.
Everybody was, dude. Yeah. He was and you think like he's just a big ogre, right? And he's French. So he like doesn't speak real well. And he was part of that original old school stuff. Like it was, you are who you are. And when they're out there, Andre wanted everything to look real. So he was, what they call stiff. Like when he threw a punch, you got hit with a punch. I mean, it wasn't maybe not a full all out punch, but it wasn't like a shot that like barely tips you and then you fly around, but they do such a good job of manipulating and just barely touches you. No, you got hit, bud. Yeah. And it wasn't a full out, but you got that was how you made it look real, because a lot of it really was. And Andre, if he didn't like you, he beat you up. Bam Bam Bigelow has a whole was talking a story about when they were in WrestleMania like 11, and Bigelow was only in the WWE for like a year at that time, and they were making a big push for him. And Andre basically said, you're too green to be in this situation, and basically not beat the brakes off of him, but would sit on him, not like bounce, and when he punched him, and Bam Bam's like, Andre beat me up in the ring.
Yep. I think there's a similar story. I want to say the Ultimate Warrior. Because he wasn't a good wrestler or whatever.
Yes, he was a terrible wrestler.
Hurt people.
People were scared to death. People did not want to be in the ring with him because he couldn't, there's people that, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I think he just did something that Andre didn't like, and they were wrestling, and Andre like really hit him or something. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. Like, kind of straightened up after that. Anyway, yeah.
He's a different dude too. The Ultimate Warrior, that dude,
he was in that case.
Well, but the thing is like when he was at home, they like his family's like he was totally normal dude. But then he'd get on the road, and then when he won the title, then all of a sudden
he was a jerk.
He became the Warrior all the time, and that's when everything went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
And prescription drugs were involved in almost every one of these crazy people's stories.
Yeah. The only normal guy, Chris Benoit. No.
You know who the only normal guy was? Mick Foley.
Yeah, that's true.
Mick Foley was loved by everyone.
Yeah.
He didn't drink. He didn't do drugs. He didn't do it. Like everybody knew it. Like when the show was over, Mick went home to his family. Like but in the ring, when he was Mick, that dude was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
When you go to New Japan and you make that death match stuff and you become one of the greatest known death match people in New Japan, you're psycho. You're psycho. But turns out he's actually like one of the most normal human beings in the entire world.
Yeah.
He just really loved wrestling.
Yeah.
I could do this. Oh, I could talk about wrestling all the time.
I gotta catch up on a lot of these shows.
Dude,
I keep meaning to.
I just binge watch them all the time. They're my favorite things to watch.
Yeah. So anyway, that's our Mount Rushmore of wrestling. We should probably get into our comedy.
Yeah, we can. Ooh, sorry. Yeah. So comedy segment this week.
Amy Schumer, Emergency Contact on Netflix.
Yes. Adam, what'd you think about Miss Schumer? I was nervous. Been wanting a good one from Miss Schumer. Amy's been a little off lately. And
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I've seen her do sets, and I'm like, man, she's funny.
She is funny.
She is really funny. And then I've seen her do sets, and I think we've watched some past specials, and I'm like, I don't know anymore.
Some of them just not funny. It's just not funny. And like, I feel like her timing, she has her way. That's the way she delivers her jokes. And you're expecting that to deliver a punchline, but that's not the punchline. The punchline comes right afterwards in like a little small voice. She kind of says it slower, low into the microphone. But there's nothing funny sometimes. Like, it just didn't come out funny.
Yeah.
I laughed maybe twice, maybe 3 times. There was a couple things that were good in there, but the majority of it, it just didn't hit me. It wasn't, I don't feel like it was as bad as her last one.
I agree.
But
in fact, I liked this one. I was the same. I didn't laugh. I kind of like chuckled out loud once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
But I thought she was funnier though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I was pretty happy with it. Yeah, I mean, I gave it 3.8.
Wow, it's good. I went 3.0.
3.0.
Mm-hmm. Right in the middle, just average.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an average comedy. Had its good, and some of it was a little slow. Transitions weren't great in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. And not all of them. I mean, she went from her friends and talking about her friends and their husbands to talking about her husband, and that was all right. But there's some of them just didn't move very well. I don't know. I just always want more from her because in the very beginning, she was one of the funniest people in the entire world.
Yeah, she was funny. She had her show that she had for a while on Comedy Central. That was pretty funny.
The movie she did with LeBron and
Trainwreck.
Yeah, Trainwreck. Bill Hader was awesome. That
never saw it.
Oh my God, that was great. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't amazing or anything like that, but good for her. I don't know, the blind guy. That's the only thing I wrote down.
That was good.
Stuff. Yeah.
The blind guy stuff was good. The pouring the drinks. Anybody want a drink?
People would just clean it up. Act like it didn't happen.
I feel like insecurities are okay to have, but you can't hide an insecurity of being blind.
I don't know. I guess maybe there's not too much to talk about this. It was.
I've got a hump.
It was fine.
I've got a hump on my back, and I've noticed it more and more recently. Bad posture, whatever. But what she said is what I've been told you're supposed to do. Take your chin and like push it back into your neck.
Oh.
And there's no way I'm doing that. I look like a weirdo. I always said that, but like I see pictures of myself, especially like out on the baseball field or something. Somebody will send me a picture next to their kid, and they'll be like, "Oh, so it's such a great," and I'm just like standing there like this, and I got this. My head is 7-8 inches in front of my body because I got this giant hump on the back of my neck. I hate it. I'm with her, dude. When she started talking about that, I could relate to the hump on the back of the neck. I got a big one back here. I can't. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. I got a big old hump.
That's just your back, right?
No, dude, it's a hump. Like it's supposed to be like that. It's not. It's not. It's a hump.
Your hump. All right.
Check it out.
I mean, that's it for Amy Schumer, really. I think.
Yeah,
It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah. Mount Rushmore for next week, and we've got to get a comedy in for next week.
I've got the comedy pal.
What is our comedy for next week, Adam Schmidt?
Yesterday, from the time we're recording this, Mark Normand has a new special released on Netflix.
We talked about him for a little bit last week.
Soup to Nuts.
Soup to Nuts. I love it. This will be fun.
Yep. I'm excited.
Mark Normand's always fun.
He says it's even darker than a lot of his normal stuff.
All right, let's go. Anthony Jeselnik times 10, huh?
How about that? We'll see.
Okay.
He's like, I'm a little nervous about this actually, but we'll find out.
Wow, this is cool. Okay, I'm excited.
Yep.
Man, yeah, because when you're him, it's like you feel like you got to push the envelope a little bit more, and eventually you're going to push the envelope too far. It's just going to happen.
Yep. I'll tell you, sometimes we have these comedians and they have big life changes. They get married, they have kids, and suddenly they're not funny anymore.
Yeah.
The man got married recently.
Oh boy.
We'll see.
We're going to find out. And he's making money. So that's the one good thing about Amy Schumer is, she's got a ton of money now. Her life isn't the same, but she's still self-deprecating as all get it. That's what I still want. I don't want you to start telling me about how great you are and all the great things happening to you. I want you to still make fun of yourself. That's what I want in my comedy.
When she got real popular, was a huge headliner for a while there. You know who her opener was for a long time? Mark Normand.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't. And her favorite. We should talk about her favorite comedian, Dave Attell. Which I didn't get that joke.
I don't even remember it now.
Her son, what she named her son, Fisher. His last name's Fisher, and Attell Fisher. Genital Fisher or something like that. I didn't get that. Is that
Genital Fisher?
Genital Fisher?
That's some kind of medical condition.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know exactly what it is, but I've heard it before.
I had no idea what was going on. I was like, you just said his name was Gene.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. Yeah, put those together. Yeah.
Gene Attell. But then they changed it or something to something, right? I mean, I don't know. They changed it to something.
She said she changed it to finger banging something.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't say.
So maybe that was just a joke. I guess it still is his name.
It's definitely, huh? Who knows?
Yeah.
The dog is desperately trying to get into the Rum Dum Studios right now.
Maybe you should be our next guest.
That's a her. That one's a her. That's a her.
Maybe she should be our next guest. Dogs.
That's never happened before.
I know.
It's different. Okay. So
we need
as we're sitting here listening. Yes, we need a Mount Rushmore. I'm interested to go back and listen to this one because my kids have been in the basement just outside of the studio all night. And this is not by any means noise proof or anything like that in here.
I heard them early, but I haven't noticed in a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had these headphones on, so I can't really tell, but I've heard some things going. I'm just interested to hear what it picks up.
We'll find out.
Yep. It'll be fun. That'll be fun. So we're going to go Mark Normand, Soup to Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the Mount Rushmore. Okay. The question is, do I stick with wrestling? We've done some big time wrestling the last couple weeks. Do I get off of it? The Women's World Cup is going on. I am going to say I would like to do the Mount Rushmore of women's soccer players.
Okay.
And if you don't know who they are, you can't put them on there. Like, don't look at a bunch of lists and see that the number one is somebody like that. I've got mine, Mia Hamm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, I know 6. I only know 6. So
you know 6?
Probably.
Name 6.
Name 6 women. 4
earlier. Did you? I heard 2.
No,
you said
Rose Lavelle.
You didn't say her. I said
no.
Rose
I know,
Lavelle.
but I knew who she was.
But if you knew who she was when I said her name, would you have known her name off the top of your head?
Yes.
Like Brittany Chastain, like you said her.
Brittany Chastain, Alex Morgan,
Megan Rapinoe,
Brandy Chastain, Brandy, right?
I have no idea.
Brandy Chastain, Megan Rapinoe.
Okay. You said you could name 6. Give me 2 more.
Hold on. Mia Hamm.
Okay. Yep.
There's got to be another.
You remember the goalie that like beat the crap out of her boyfriend?
Speaking of that, a gal from the WNBA got arrested today for like 9 charges of
Battery,
assault. Yeah.
Remember Hope Solo?
Hope Solo.
The goalie?
Did she really?
Yeah, she beat up her boyfriend.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
He can never show his face again anywhere.
I mean, it is what it is. Maybe he just wasn't fighting back.
Yeah.
And she's a professional athlete.
Can you get away? I mean,
and she's like 6. I don't know, maybe not, dude. She's like 6'3" and strong as an ox.
Strong as an ox.
She looks mean. She always looked mean.
I don't remember what she looks like, but I do. I remember her.
Okay. I gave you one that doesn't count.
Yeah, maybe I can name 5 then. I'll think of somebody.
And you'll read a list and you go, oh yeah.
No, there's another Cincinnati girl that was really that played on the team for a while. Oh gosh, man. Lance still has her on all the time. Sometimes
I have no idea.
I can't think of her name.
No idea.
She played at Mount Notre Dame or something like that. I forget. Gosh. Okay. Mount Rushmore women's soccer players.
I love it. Love it. All right.
I mean, I know I could name half the Oak Hills soccer team. Does that count?
Because they all played basketball for you.
Basketball, all right.
There you go.
All right. That's good.
All right. I like it. So here we are with that. We've going on to so the podcast is
make the announcement.
Do you go ahead?
You please.
No, I don't want to. I want you to make it. I feel like it's the very end of the podcast. So
yeah,
we'll see how many people are still listening, but maybe a lot of people haven't turned it off like normal.
Right. Because we didn't talk about the NBA.
We didn't talk about the NBA at all.
We didn't talk about baseball really. Yeah, so we've talked about it kind of for a while, but we are just the nosebleeds, which means we're not going to be obligated. We're not going to feel obligated to talk about sports mostly. It's going to be whatever the heck we want. Whatever happens, we will, because we are both big sports fans, we will still talk about
There will be sports involved.
Guarantee.
Yes.
But kind of whatever comes up, we still might make a little plan or have something we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that. But we just jumped all over the place and I love it.
I think it's just as much fun that way. I think some of the best podcasts we have are just, it just goes sideways.
That's right.
So there you go. That's the new rendition. Does it say, it just says nosebleeds up there. We're good. Yes. We don't even have to change our sign. Don't even have to change our sign. Shout out Cody, who's a UPS driver. And it was announced that it looks like that UPS is not going to go on strike.
Yeah.
Now they haven't got all the official language of the contract yet, but it sounds like there's an agreement in hand.
They have a collective bargaining agreement.
Sure, a union thing. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, just like baseball and basketball and everything else.
Yep.
Very cool. So that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. All right. So until next week, don't forget to turn your headlights on.